Rimuru and Ultima goes to One Piece, Rimuru and Ultima x One Piece, by Veldanava-God. Chapter 42. The spy exposed the hidden resistance headquarters in Tempest's capital city was dimly lit, with a large map sprawled out on a table in front of Kylam Drakemore, Luffy, and Law. They huddled around it, eyes scanning each location marked in red, where they had intelligence on Rimuru and Ultima's soldiers stationed throughout the island. Kylam, the late king's son and rightful heir to the throne, traced a finger over the strategic points. "So, we'll begin the attack at dawn tomorrow," Kylam firmly said, his golden eyes glinting with determination. "We need to strike hard and fast. They're expecting us to be scattered and unprepared. If we surprise them, we'll have the upper hand." Luffy clenched a fist, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Finally, I've been waiting for a real fight. Those guys won't know what hit them." Law, ever calm and calculating, nodded in agreement. "We'll use every advantage we have. If we strike their communication lines first, Rimuru and Ultima will be in the dark, unable to coordinate their forces." But then, a cold chill swept over the room. All three men tensed, their eyes narrowing as they felt an unmistakable presence, an intense focus of observation hockey directed straight at them. "Someone's here," Law whispered, his hand already on the hilt of Kikoku, his cursed blade. Luffy cracked his knuckles, a determined grin spreading across his face. "I've felt that hockey before. It's one of their generals, she's close." Kylam's eyes darted toward the shadows near the room's entrance, his hand instinctively tightening around the hilt of his sword. "If it's one of Rimuru and Ultima's people, they must know our plan now." From the darkness, Tessa Horizon's figure appears, her piercing eyes scanning the room with a deadly calm. She stood in the doorway, a wry smirk on her face as she took in the three men. Well. I didn't expect to stumble upon such a steam company here. Planning something big, are we?" "Tessa Horizon," Law said coldly, his gaze unwavering. "One of Rimuru and Ultima's loyal generals. If you're here, I assume you're reporting back to them?" Tessa gasped, seemingly unfazed by the dangerous tension in the air. "Very perceptive, Trafalgar Law. And here I thought pirates deprived class." Luffy, never one for subtlety, lunged towards her, his fist cloaked in armament hockey. "No more talking. Gomu no. Pistol." Tessa's eyes broadened briefly before she leapt backward, dodging Luffy's strike by mere inches. "Oh, so we're playing rough, are we?" Her gaze sharpened as she activated her own observation hockey, expecting their next moves. Law swiftly closed in, swinging Kikoku in a precise arc. "You're outnumbered. Surrender now, or face the consequences." Tessa smirked, her stance unwavering. "You're underestimating me if you think I'll go down that easily." Kylam, seizing an opening, charged forward with his blade drawn. "You've caused enough suffering to my people. We won't let you report back to those tyrants." Tessa spun on her heel, narrowly dodging Kylam's strike, though his sword grazed her arm. Blood trickled down, but her expression remained fierce, unyielding. She countered by sending a quick punch toward him, which he blocked with his sword. "Impressive," Tessa admitted, a hint of respect in her tone. "You're not just the spoiled royal brat I thought you'd be." Before Kylam could retort, Luffy launched another attack, stretching his arm back and swinging it forward with full force. This time, Tessa barely managed to deflect the blow, and the impact made her stumble, coughing up a bit of blood. She glanced down and saw that her position had shifted. She was now close to the doorway. Realizing her escape route, Tessa glanced back at them with a smirk. "I'll be seeing you again, but next time, it won't be on your terms." In a swift move, she turned and sprinted out of the room, disappearing into the shadows before they could react. "Damn it!" Kylam cursed, slamming his fist on the table. "She's going to alert Rimuru and Ultima." Luffy clenched his fists, looking disappointed that she had gotten away. "She was pretty fast, but next time, I won't miss." Law sheathed his sword, his gaze turning thoughtful. "We may need to adjust our plans now that they're aware we're here." Kylam, however, shook his head. "If we delay any longer, they'll strengthen their defenses. We have to stick to the plan and attack tomorrow. Waiting only gives them an advantage." Law crossed his arms, clearly weighing the options. "Are you sure? They'll be more prepared now." "Exactly," Luffy interjected, slamming his fist into his palm. "If we wait, it's just gonna get harder. I say we attack head on,
Like we planned. Law sighed, a resigned look crossing his face. You're as reckless as ever, Luffy. Luffy laughed, scratching the back of his head. Yeah, but it always works out, doesn't it?
After a moment's pause, Law nodded. Fine. We stick to the original plan. But we'll need to be even more cautious now that Tessa's informed them of our presence. Kylam nodded in agreement. Then it's settled. We strike at dawn. This time, there's no going back. Meanwhile, in the throne room, Tessa burst into the throne room, where Rimuru and Ultima sat upon their grand seats, their expressions curious as they watched her enter. Sylphira and Kalis were gathered around, listening intently. Tessa bowed slightly before addressing her leaders. My lords, I bring urgent news. The Straw Hat Pirates and the Heart Pirates have allied with Kylam Drakemore, and they're planning an attack on the capital, tomorrow at dawn.
Ultima's eyes gleamed with excitement. Finally, some real action. I was beginning to think they'd never show themselves.
Rimuru leaned forward, his golden eyes glinting with anticipation. Interesting. They detected your presence, didn't they? Tessa nodded, wiping the blood from her lip. They're skilled, I'll give them that. Luffy and Kylam both managed to land hits on me, and they saw through my observation hockey. They're not to be underestimated. Sylphira chuckled darkly. So, the so-called revolution thinks it can surprise us. How amusing. Kalis crossed his arms, his expression unreadable. It's no longer a surprise attack, then. Shall we crush them before they have a chance to reach the city? But Rimuru raised a hand, silencing the room. No, we'll let them come. I want to see the full extent of their strength. This will be a test of their resolve. Ultima's lips curled into a smirk. I'm looking forward to seeing if the legendary Straw Hat Luffy and his friends are as formidable as they say. Rimuru chuckled. Then let's prepare for their arrival. We'll greet them in the capital, and put an end to their little rebellion. The generals nodded, each one brimming with excitement at the upcoming clash. Tessa, still recovering from her encounter, couldn't hide a small smirk. The idea of facing Luffy and Law again intrigued her, and she was eager to see how this confrontation would unfold. Back in the rebel hideout as night settled over the city, Luffy, Law, and Kylam gathered their forces. The tension in the room was palpable, each fighter aware of the high stakes of tomorrow's battle. Luffy's Straw Hat crew was scattered among the ranks, each member preparing in their own way. Nami stood near the window, scanning the capital with her Klimatact in hand. This place. It's so different from anywhere we've been. The people here are suffering, all because of Rimuru and Ultima. Usopp, with a determined look on his face, nodded. We can't let them get away with this. We have to give these people hope. Chopper, perched beside them, clenched his tiny fists, and that means taking down Rimuru and Ultima, no matter how powerful they are. Nearby, Zoro sharpened his swords, a faint grin on his face. This sounds like it'll be a good fight. Kylam addresses the group, his voice firm. Remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting to reclaim this land, to free my people from the tyranny of Rimuru and Ultima. They may be powerful, but with our combined strength, we can bring them down. Sanji lit a cigarette, exhaling a plume of smoke. With you leading the way, Prince, we've got a shot. Let's make tomorrow count. Luffy punched his fist into his palm, a fiery determination in his eyes. All right, everyone, get some rest tonight, because tomorrow, we're taking down Rimuru and Ultima. A resounding cheer echoed through the room as the rebels prepared themselves for the battle of a lifetime.